Yeah, theology and the streets, extended thought, where no topic goes untouched. Hey, listen, we just had a great interview with Wayne Johnson, retired police officer from the Rochester City Police Department. And we just going to get into it right here and discuss some of the things he shared. Like, what do you guys think, man? Let's start off with you, Kirk Classic, because you were on the low key back there. You didn't ask any questions. How did you take in what Wayne Johnson was sharing from being a police officer?
A lot of insight from the inside, right?
Yeah, it was good.
It was very good to hear an officer's perspective on what's happening in the community, number one. And it was interesting to hear his, a lot of his background and his backstory. It kind of opens you up a little bit to understand who Wayne is. But just a lot of good information. I was kind of surprised, though, at the stance, a little bit of the stance he took with
Me too.
how to interact with the police and
and how he was like, it is what it is. There's nothing you could do about it. Just be cool.
I was a little surprised by that.
Like don't push the button.
But I get what he's saying. Get what he's saying.
He's talking about the real world, right?
Because he's coming from, because we got to think, he's coming from an officer's point of view.
Well,
that whole system as well. Right, so, Yeah,
and I was trying to pry in there to get some dirt. You know what I mean? And it's hard with Wayne because he's so poised and he doesn't let you,
he's cool, calm, collective.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some dirt. Like, okay, did you know? Do y'all got a code of silence? Do y'all, you know what I mean? Do y'all don't?
They're like, nah, we ain't got co-silence. But deep down, you got co-silence.
Yeah, come on, man. I should have pressed them more. I should have been like, man, come on, man. How many people got beat up and you ain't saying nothing, man? How many, man? Come on. But the thing is, see, now if I didn't know Wayne, I would have said that.
Yeah.
But I know Wayne, and I don't think Wayne would have allowed that in front of him.
He kind of insinuated it. He was like, yo, if you act up, I'm going to put my hands on you and then I'm going to call my boys and we going to put your hands on you.
No, but I'm saying, what I'm saying is that how many times that he didn't agree and they putting their hands on people and he just sat there. See, I didn't press the issue because knowing Wayne, he would have stopped it.
Right.
He's got that type of character.
That's his integrity.
Yeah, like yo, chill, fall back, man. You know, like you a little bit. Like he said, if I was there, that would nothing happen. He was like, I would have told the cop like, yo, that's enough. Or he even said it. There was time they did it for me, and there was time I had to do it for the cop. Like, hey, that's enough. Let's handle this situation a little different. So I was trying to pry, but it's great. Like not knowing that, I didn't know that he was from Hanover.
Right? That's dope, son.
I got a little more respect for my man when I see him, my man from Hanover Projects.
Whew.
You know what I mean? That's one of, I didn't even know that he lived in Hanover Projects. So Wayne, he from the street. There you go. He's a street cop from the street.
Yeah.
He from the
And he still live in the street. He still live in the hood. He live off of Genesee Street. So
look at that.
Yeah,
and he said he lived on Jenny too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, he lived in the hood. This ain't no dude that that didn't live in the hood. He lived in the hood. But you can see that he didn't like the whole idea of defunding.
Right. So I wanted to ask that, how y'all feel about, after listening to that, what side you on? Defunding or reform?
I think a mixture of both.
Right? It's in the middle, right?
It just makes sense to me. Like, to over-police, to have over-policing of the city. So think of it this way, right? Biblically speaking, what we find is that the more laws that are created, right? Old Testament, the more laws, you have 10 to start off with, but then Jews added over 600 more. And what did you find? People can't keep laws, right? It only shows that they jacked up. So when you have more enforcement of law, all you're going to find is more escalation of issues. So when he off camera here, I asked him. I said, "Yo, you couldn't really send a social worker to answer some of the because they answer every call. Police officers, that don't make sense to me. I think that's a waste of resources, and I think there are some calls that if we had I don't know to what degree this is where the reform will come in, but people who are trained psychologists, socialists, not socialists, sociologists, or work in a social setting field, they can deal with some of these issues.
They answer every call. They don't go to every call. Come on, bro.
Fact,
right. Come on now. Let's get real.
Fact,
but Lou, like you said, let's say there's a little domestic issue, right? They call the wife call the cops, right? I mean, so they send over a social worker and a psychologist, right? Okay, and that's cool, and they could talk it down, and they could provide some advice and therapy.
In a domestic issue, that's a little bit
right because what if the guy gets violent?
Yeah, that's the thing. Or the girl's violent, right? So
and now you got to beat up sociologists.
Not only that, you're asking too much for the cop to be, dealing with the psyche of
not the cop.
No, I'm just saying
social workers.
I'm going on your benefit, on your side, like saying they should come with someone that can deal with that.
I think that's a better plan
because you asking a lot from the cop. He's like he said, he's already got pressures from at home.
Yeah,
he's already got life struggles, and then we didn't even get into the hours. I totally forgot. They work
what kind
long
of shifts they work.
They work long shifts.
Well, not only that,
he said 8.5.
That's 8.5, right?
Yeah,
that's not if they pick up any extra.
That's what I'm saying. Without picking up extra hours, and that's 8.5 of maybe 6 shootings. You know what I mean?
That was beautiful.
Or chilling
insight.
at Dunkin' Donuts getting coffee. Oh my bad. I should have asked him that.
That was beautiful insight where he was like. At first, he passed the psych evaluation, police officers, but after a year on the job, that changes your whole psychological state.
That's what we're talking about. The ongoing. Ongoing, and after any major incident.
Yes.
So it'll be like every other month, and then after any.
Yeah, even just coming up and seeing a dead body, man.
Yeah.
Like think about that, man. That's not normal, man.
Yeah. No, not.
That's not normal. Coming up and seeing, coming to a scene, looking at someone that's shot dead in their car, being the first one in the scene. I don't care who you are. That messes with your mind.
Especially seeing it all the time.
That's the thing. Now you become desensitized to it to some degree.
But what was interesting is that the politics of trying to be a police officer, he leaked it. He leaked that part.
Yeah, man.
He leaked that part that he had trouble getting on the force.
Yes.
Because of his color. And it was somebody in TATS Nation that had brought that up.
TATS Nation, big ups.
Yeah, so
Don Dada.
It was Don. Thank you. Yeah, yes, I did bring that up. Thank you.
He said the police union is prevalent in withholding.
Hold on, bro. You TATS crew, not TATS Nation. TATS Nation.
We're part of TATS Nation too. Yeah.
So Don Dada a couple weeks ago said that the police union is part of the problem because they're helping decrease the amount of blacks and Hispanics in the police force. Man, that's a serious problem.
Yeah.
And he is a victim of it. He was almost a victim of it. And look at how deep that is. Now, how deep that is. For real, bro. So he just said it, that he had to go and fight. Now, how many people are advocating, or that white lady that helped him,
looked out for him?
How many brothers and sisters are not getting looked out for?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're trying to, I told you, my nephew went twice.
Yep.
Okay? Yeah. I got 2 nephews that tried.
And they're good kids.
And they're good. And they would have been great at it. One acts like he looked at act. He should have been a cop.
Nick,
you know
right?
what I mean? Nick would have been a perfect cop.
Yeah.
Nick would have been a perfect cop. But because of the shenanigans, you know what I mean? And this is what I'm trying to tell you.
The politics.
It's the politics, and it's because they're trying to keep the majority.
Which brings up politicians who are responsible for this problem because they're bought and paid for by the police unions who are implementing these issues, man.
So we're talking on a small scale.
Yeah.
Imagine when you go
larger
up
city.
On a larger city.
Oh
my goodness, man. The corruption of this.
And then not only local police departments, but that transcends into FBI, DEA, the same problem.
The same issue.
They don't want blacks and Hispanics in those areas, man.
Look
you know what I'm saying?
Look what we're dealing with. So I can understand why we have a chip on our shoulder sometimes and we say the system.
Yeah. The system.
The system now, because now you're starting to see it from the system.
That is a perfect example of the racist structures, right? Systemic racism. That is right there.
Right there. Boom. Right there. TATS. Theology on the Streets broke it down for you right there, guys.
Investigative
my
reports.
only thing, listen.
That's exclusive.
Investigative
Kurt
reports.
only said one thing up in here, and I think we got to be careful because he's a man of all trades. I think he might go become a police officer. This dude sound a little jealous.
He passed the age. He old.
No.
Yeah, what's the age limit though? I think it's like 30.
35, I think it is.
How old are you now?
He tried.
How old are you now?
He's 35.
Oh,
He can do it today. He can go tomorrow.
We go tomorrow.
He's gonna be tending his resignation in as youth and children's pastor.
He go pass the physical test.
Hey, don't get it twisted.
My man
now.
ain't jogging no 3 miles. Nah. Man, no,
Don't get it twisted now.
Listen, we worked out together, brother. I know what you passing and what you not.
No, he did it.
No.
But messed up.
Yo. But seriously though, Jamma, you sent to the TATS crew here a video on Camden, New Jersey.
Oh yeah, peep this. This is what they did to supersede the corruption of police unions.
Come on.
All right, check it out. This is what they did. All right. So they had about 150 officers, right? Around there, right? And each officer was costing the city of Camden $180,000 per police officer. That means their wage, benefits, severance packages, retirement fund, medical, dental, all that. That's how much, and that was caused by the police union who negotiated that contract with the city, right? Okay, and that's another big problem police unions do. They rape the budgets of the cities because that's what they want to do. They trying to get cops paid everything, right? So
Get that money.
yes. So police chief came in, white boy. Camden, crazy. I told you I lived there when I was 11 years old. That's the home of Campbell Soup. Yo, when I moved there, I thought I lived in the ghetto. I was born and raised on South Street. I moved to Camden for a year. I was like, yo, burnt down house, crib. And my uncle was like, yo, you want to see some funny stuff? He was like 3 years older than me. He's 14. We would walk into these burnt down houses, see people shooting up heroin, smoking crack. It was crazy. So Camden was bad back then. I heard it got worse, right? So the police chief said, all right, look, we're paying too much for police officers, and these police unions are not letting me reform my police department, right? They're not letting me instill new rules, change the culture from within. So they fired all the police officers. They fired all of them, right? They rehired them as county employees. Now they're excluded from the union. They de-unionized them and then negotiated contracts with them personally.
Wow.
Now, remember that $180,000 per police officer, 145 officers? They broke it down to $80,000 per police officer. And now the police is increased to about 400 police officers at a cheaper rate. And also implementing new rules and regulations, right? Holding police officers accountable. And crime has decreased in Camden. That's what they did.
So according to their statistics, back in 2012, they had like 2,000 violent crime incidences. When the shift changed, it started to drop immediately. I think since 2019, they're like somewhere around 1,200 violent incidences in Camden, New Jersey. But it's interesting to see when the power shifts that you get a good leader, because listen, everything rises and falls on leadership, plain and simple. And if you get a good leader in there that cares about people, that's important. That's one of the things I wanted to ask Wayne. Like, what are some of the Rochester police, what do they do to interact with the community? Because that's major right there.
Well, we did that today. We had a walk against violence today, and we had 2 officers walk with us. So, and they were engaging with the community
Through the neighborhood,
But Thurston. We walked through Thurston.
And that's how you change the
matter
culture.
of fact, we walked through
area.
Jefferson.
But that can't be just
once in a while, And
that's got to be
that was
the
more
culture of police,
delegated by and organized by the community too. It wasn't, but I think they got that concept from the school structure. They do the same thing with the school structure. See, school and teachers and principals are in a union, so they can't fire old teachers that they don't that are not making the quota or doing what they're supposed to do. So what they do is they do the same type of concept, and they turn into a charter school when then now they can fire and hire whatever teachers they want.
I see.
They do the same type of concept, right? Kurt?
I think it's a slippery slope because I'm on the side of reform, not defund.
Yeah.
Because if you defund, bro, it's going to be anarchy.
Yeah.
We know that, right? It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
But if you can reform, meaning you change the practices, some of the principal institutions within the police force, I think you can create a better environment, one where the police force and the community can have some sense of being able to cooperate with each other, if you know what I mean.
A relationship.
Well,
they got a good idea.
Relationship.
They got a good idea here. What you said, the accountability board.
Accountability board.
Well, I don't think that the accountability board should hand out the.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I think any kind of disciplinary action has to come from somebody objective.
Yeah.
Meaning they're not part of the police department. They're not even part of the board. Someone who can just judge and give an objective perspective, and give a fair disciplinary action towards whatever police officer.
Well, I think that whatever decision. So this is my spin on it. So if whatever the superiors of that officer, they delegate whatever discipline they want to do, the board should say, I don't think that's enough. You know what I mean? I think it should be stronger, and then you have to negotiate with the board.
Okay, that's
I
good.
think that's how it should be. Negotiation with the board.
Now that requires more money because you have to form a committee to decide if the police was in transgression, and then you have another committee deciding what type of disciplinary measure is going to be.
But if you
enforced.
mix a little bit of defunding with reform, you can pull some of that.
Right.
And they already formed the board.
Right. So we got the mix. Some reform, a lot of reform, some defunding. Right.
Exactly.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
All right.
It's crazy though. The concept is crazy when you think about it now versus how it's always has been, right? Especially with the police union. Unions are very strong in America, man. Very strong. Mm-hmm. So you mess
tied
with
into
that.
politics, man.
Yeah,
And they own politicians.
Yes.
Listen, and we love the union.
So
TATS, theology of the streets. We love the union.
Now the same
my
problem.
I just
question
want to
is,
go on the, limit.
should the union be able to champion a candidate? Should it be more like the churches are?
Separation of church
Right?
and state.
It should be just you a police force. You can't advocate for any candidate.
Right.
Yeah, it's you're right. I agree with that. Actually, if you are in any form of leadership within the police, political office should be out of reach for you.
Yeah.
That will keep it objective
Yeah.
as far as the police work is going. So
Absolutely.
that's actually a great thought. Yo, let me see. This is one thing I didn't get a chance to. I mean, we kind of touched on it with Wayne, but and I know politics is involved in this, but I really believe that if you have more minorities that are hired as police officers, there would be a different kind of interaction. I mean, there's people that just always gonna look at cops and just say, "Yo, cops are," they'll name call them, whatever. But if you have more minorities hired, there would be a different interaction. They could relate differently, especially if they came from similar backgrounds. What do you guys think of that?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely, 100, right?
Yeah, you got to have, like you said, everybody's coming from a different background. They're learning from their coworker now. You see, as opposed to someone that they're trying to lock up or they encounter and having words with. Their coworker is, diverse. So now they got to learn how to deal with this person. Now they're learning the whole culture from this person. So now it brings a different dynamic to the whole game. You know what I mean?
Now imagine, just role reversal here. We just throwing some thoughts out there. Imagine if Greece police were all black or all Puerto Rican,
Born and raised in the hood.
born and raised in the hood, and came out to police suburban folk.
I think it would work.
You think so?
Yeah, because see,
The same problems wouldn't arise.
yeah, because you got to see, okay, when you
They be like, yo, this is a love job.
yeah. This is now what they're not gonna deal with is someone feeling like they're entitled.
Yeah, privilege.
Oh,
Yes.
no, they're gonna be locked up quick, and you're gonna learn.
Yeah.
And that message is gonna be, learned quick. That hey, listen, humble yourself because they're not playing with you. But when you see coming from the hood, see it's different. Coming from the hood, you don't have that entitlement type feeling.
Right.
You don't have that character because you've been through some stuff and you've been in the lows. So anything that for the majority
that's
speaking,
the way it used to be. Now,
majority speaking, you're right.
majority of people in the hood feel entitled.
Now,
Because they think they lawyers. They're like, no, I ain't got to give you my license.
True.
No, I ain't got to put my
You're
window
right.
down.
So
Just
it's
talk
different.
about.
It's different.
No, I ain't got to put my cigarette
That's
out.
why Wayne
What
said
you
it's
want?
worse now.
Yeah, they're like, what you want, man? Why you stopping me, man?
right.
Yo, get out of here.
Yeah.
It's
you're
like, yo,
you're right.
that's crazy.
Well, and not only that, because they see people in the suburbs do it and get away with it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Or in general, though, it's just people, when it comes to any form of authority, have just become more rebellious as well.
Yeah. But and let's
Because of the spirit of the age.
And let's be honest. Like you said, your neighbor, he swung a bat at police officers.
I don't even know how that dude.
Okay, and and they didn't do anything. They didn't tase him.
Yeah.
They nothing. They didn't even jump on them. They didn't even.
Yo, they
wrestle
had the
them.
guns drawn, but they didn't pop them, bro.
And they talked them down.
Yeah, they
did it like
de-escalated.
they
de-escalated.
And I'm pretty sure race had something to do with it because they were white cops, and it was like, oh, my fellow white guy just
were
lost
they all
it.
white cops? Were they?
Most of them were white. I don't know if they
Yeah.
had any.
So they
it
could
was dark
understand.
back there,
So
too,
which brings me up to this point here. To help in recruiting blacks and Hispanics in the police force, right? This is what happens in the burbs, right? The white boys are the police officers in the burbs. They grew up in that community. So they know the fathers and mothers of these young people that they arrest. And they give them hookups because they don't want to mess up their record. Like, oh, no, Billy's a good kid. Bryce is a good kid. Just put the weed out, throw the alcohol out, lock your doors, walk home. I'll talk to your dad tomorrow, right? You see that? Because white is hooking up white.
Right.
Now, if we had blacks and Hispanics in blacks and Hispanic communities, we would do the same thing. So then when these young folk would grow up, they don't have 3-4 strikes against them, and they could become police officers.
You're right.
Do you see that? That would also help in recruitment.
Listen, and to be fair, I had a white cop that did that to me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I had a white cop did that to me. Like, hey, man, calm down, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to give you this ticket.
Yep.
This is going to mess you up. I had a CDL at 20. I was like 20 years old. I wasn't even 21 yet. I was like 20. I had my CDL. I had a couple of licenses. And he's like, listen, you're doing real well. I don't want to stop. And I was real airy. I shot all my licenses. He said, let me see your license. I shot 7 licenses at him.
Oh my goodness.
Bro, I shot it at him.
Yeah.
That's entitlement, bro.
No, Don thought he was a gangster back in the day.
Yeah,
He
I thought-
swore
yeah.
he was Al Pacino, Fat Joe.
He was an entitled gangster.
all in one. Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that day.
You had to be there.
I learned that day. When he put, that's how I felt. That's how I felt because I was intoxicated. You know what I mean? So he was not trying to give me a DWI. He was like, listen, your driving record is great. Like, he's like, calm down, when I'm shot, and I shot the thing at her. But when he put me back in the car, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Don't give me a DWI.
Don, there goes your street credibility.
Yeah, hey. No, listen. Gangsters know when to play the role. Okay, gangsters know.
Hey,
Yo.
power of the unions, right? That's all unions. So imagine the teachers union. How impossible it is to fire a bad teacher.
Yeah, same thing.
Who's not doing their job and is not producing educated kids.
Yeah.
It's so hard to fire them.
Yeah, it is.
The union's there to protect.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Teachers take a bad rap for a lot of bad policy.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
But isn't that part of the union also? Doesn't union
No,
negotiate
principle, right?
policies?
That's the principle.
The union doesn't make the policy.
Who does that?
That's government.
State.
State. Right. The State Department of
We're
Education.
gonna go on that. We're gonna go on that.
What do you mean?
Superintendent and all that stuff, yeah.
What do you mean about policy? Teaching
I'm talking about
methods?
curriculum.
Curriculum. What's that?
all
What's the
that
curriculum everybody hates? What is it? The
Common Core.
The Common
Yeah, that whole
Core.
course.
I hate
Everybody hates the Common Core.
Common Core, bro.
Everybody hates
bruh.
the Common Core.
So, in that regard, I think teachers need a union. However,
Take away some of the power, right?
man, they so strong,
They so
man.
powerful.
Because you do get some bad teachers, but I think a lot of teachers become bad over time because they get tired, bro. They get tired of
Especially
dealing
city
with
school.
because you got to think they get it from
Parents,
the Department
students.
of Education. They're getting it from the parents. They're getting it from the
kids.
student.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They getting it from the principal, bro.
And that same thing applies to police officers. They come in with good hearts,
Same thing.
but after a year on the block,
Same thing.
they're like, man, bump all these people, man.
thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Same thing.
Yo.
Wow.
So,
Same thing. No, I'm telling you. They
but why Dawn was telling his nephew, yo, you don't smoke.
You don't smoke. Listen, hold up.
Yo,
I want
my
to see
man,
my Christian people. Hold up, my Christian people.
I
Listen,
did smoke marijuana, but I did
Listen.
not inhale.
he did not inhale. But listen why I said this. Cause listen to me. Yo, hold up. Look at my theory here.
This dude right here.
No, listen. If he would have inhaled, he would have liked it.
Nah, some people don't like the effects of marijuana.
Listen, look what happened
Maybe
to
he
him.
did inhale, didn't like it.
No. Look what happened to him. Listen. Look what happened to him. He didn't get on the police force. Look at what happened. He didn't get on the police force. Now he's a weed head. No, I'm being real.
Maybe he
I'm
liked
being real. No, now he's a weed head.
Look at that.
And listen, he didn't like it. He didn't like. Listen, I'm gonna be real.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he didn't do it correctly. So he really didn't smoke
So he
marijuana.
really did smoke-
So
Listen.
he's really not lying.
Listen, I know I tried to smoke marijuana a couple of times. I didn't like it, right? I didn't like it. I wasn't doing it right.
Okay.
And then I had a friend, because I was like, oh, let's buy beers instead. Let's buy beer. And he was like, no, let's buy weed. And I'm like, man, I hate weed. He's like, why? I said, it's whack. It don't do nothing. He's like, because you're not doing it right.
Oh, okay.
And then he told me how to do it. Then I
So since you didn't do it right, you equate that with not doing it. People, that's self-manipulation.
No, but listen why. Hold on. But listen why I'm saying. But listen. Why I'm saying that to obtain, because if he say he did it and he at the time he didn't like it, he didn't smoke, he didn't do none of that.
So he should have just said
He should have. They stopped him from being a cop because of that.
and he would have been a police officer.
And he would have been a police.
understand
And
what
he
you're saying.
wasn't a smoker.
I understand what
He
you're
didn't have a desire to smoke. He tried it once. He didn't do it right. It didn't work for him.
Your intent was noble, based on situational ethics. I hear you, bro.
Listen. And now he's a weedhead. Now you ask him if he
This
like it. So
is
different
a former
narrative.
youth pastor.
Listen,
Yo.
I stand on my stance.
Nah,
if y'all
I hear
disagree
what
with me,
you're
I
Oh,
saying.
stand on my
I
stance.
hear what you're
Dawn.
saying. I hear what you're saying.
Talk less.
I stand on my stance. I don't
Incriminating
care.
yourself.
I don't care. I don't think it's a lie.
All right, check
it's
it
the
out.
truth. It's the truth. He didn't smoke, so he ain't it.
All right, check it out. It's Jammer with Trending on the Streets, man. Check us on Facebook at TATS Podcast, Instagram at TATS_podcast, on Twitter at TATS_podcast, and on YouTube at Theology and the Streets.
Make sure
This
you
what's
subscribe.
going on.
And I didn't inhale, so
All right,
smoke.
All right, Bill Clinton. Check it out. I'm gonna keep it light at first. This was trending on the streets, man. Jada was cheating on Will with a 23-year-old young
He
dude.
wasn't 23.
He young.
He's like 28.
Okay. At the time, he was like 25, whatever.
Okay.
So now they try, and she got caught, man. I think they got an open relationship or whatever.
It was a little bit of entanglement.
Yeah, anyway, they went on TV, and Will, I think, just played himself and was like, yeah, we were broken up at the time, and this and that. And she basically justified why she did what she did. And that's real crazy,
How she
man.
justified what she said?
She was like, yo, we broke up and I needed to feel good, but I grew from it and it was a good thing. And now me and my husband are back together. And that's just what it is.
She just took the lines that men used to say all the time back in the days. That's what
Role
they used to say, yeah.
reversal. Role reversal. Wow.
I learned from it. I'm more productive out of it.
Yeah.
And now I can empower our relationship from it.
Yeah, and our marriage is better for it. Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, that's out of the way. On a more serious note, Goya is being boycotted by the left.
Ain't nobody boycotting
by
Goya.
Democrats. I don't know. By anybody who's not for Trump. They're equating the supporting of Trump to trash.
I seen the video on that. Why?
To oppressing people. Like if you support Trump, then you are an oppressor and you are a racist. So they're calling for all people to boycott Goya because the CEO of Goya was at a convention which Trump threw called the Hispanic Initiative, whatever, to help Hispanic
Prosperity
communities.
Initiative.
Yeah, help Hispanic businesses and communities and education. And Goya, the CEO of Goya, just said thank you. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks, Trump, for hooking us up.
This is what he said. He said
Great leadership.
He said, he said my grandfather was a builder, and we're good that we're blessed to have a president that's a builder.
Okay.
That's all he said.
Yeah.
That's all he said.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he is.
He's saying.
That's all he
He's
said.
a good businessman.
And he said, thank you for the hookup. And
He said, "Thank you."
everybody got their panties in a bunch and are calling for the boycott of Goya products. And that will never happen.
Yo, if you boycotting Goya, we are taking it for our food pantry here,
Yes.
so feel free to drop it off to us.
Yo, I'll take it for my pantry too.
I mean, you can't even call him a builder. You know, like it's not like he praised him at all. He didn't. He was very. I think he was very conscious of what he said. You know, I think he kind of limited what he said. He said he's a builder.
Yo, it's the proper thing to do in that setting.
Yeah.
Right.
When you in the White House, I don't care if it's whoever the president is, you give respect to the office. That's all it was.
And
man.
check out the double standard. In 2010, the CEO of Goya was invited to a convention that Obama threw. And he also thanked Obama for including Goya in this initiative that Michelle Obama was trying to incorporate with food products in schools. And the CEO thanked him and Obama, and nobody had got their panties in a bunch.
Man, it's just that's what you do in that setting, man.
Yeah.
It's like if you go to the mayor's office, hey, how you doing, mayor? Especially if she's involved in something, you give honor to who honor is due, man. Whether you like Trump or not, that's what you do.
The bigger picture is being lost. He's helping the Hispanic, prosperity initiative.
Yeah.
Come on, what about that? That means something.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, that means
Let's
something.
say he's just doing it just to garner Hispanic votes. Maybe.
Who cares?
Who cares? He still did it.
He still did it. Exactly.
Yeah. Last but not least, Deshaun Jackson caught some heat for posting some anti-Semitic, supposedly anti-Semitic comments on his Twitter, saying that the true Hebrews are black people, and he attributed a quote to Adolf Hitler, and it got the Jewish community in a bunch, and the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles is a Jew. So they suspended him, whatever, had some talks. I don't know. I don't think it's over yet. I think Deshaun Jackson might be out of a job, but
the owner of everything is a Jew. So
see, that's an anti-Semitic.
That's
considered
the owner of the
anti-Semitic.
church is a Jew.
I'm just gonna say that.
The owner of the church is a Jew. His name is Jesus.
Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
That's what I was saying. That's all I was saying.
So,
You know what I'm saying? He thought I was saying something else.
okay, my bad. Well, I think it was bad judgment on Deshaun Jackson's part. I don't think anything is wrong with him.
You will
saying,
be offended.
Yeah, I don't think anything is wrong with him saying that the real Hebrews are black, but he shouldn't have attributed a quote from Adolf Hitler. Is all I'm saying.
And it's a false quote as well.
Exactly.
It wasn't
Adolf
even-
Hitler
it wasn't
didn't
even an
really
accurate
say
quote.
it.
Yeah, so.
Oh, that makes it worse.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's real bad. But nevertheless, man, that's one of those areas that it is real, and it's something that needs to be addressed. Pay your fine, get him back into the game. I'm okay with forgiving the brother on something.
Oh, absolutely.
Area,
Because you remember the other Philadelphia Eagle that they caught on on tape saying the N-word. Yes.
And they kept him.
Yeah.
They kept that dude.
Yeah, they suspended him 3 days during training camp.
Why?
Yeah.
So we watching you, Eagles.
Yeah.
You better be equal.
Yeah.
Yo, that is our extended thought episode. Yo, TATS Nation, keep riding. TATS Crew gonna keep driving. See ya. Peace.
I didn't inhale.